All right. Hello, folks. Here I am, back again with the Ivan Files. Hope you tuned in. Please tune in. It'll be interesting, though, you know. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the Bibles that I've been talking about for a few times, and it's the Enoch books that we've been talking about that we think ought to be, or I think they ought to be included in the Bible. Now, just for the heck of it, I did a little research on it, and it turns out that the Catholic Bible, which was probably the first one from Constantine and his group of fathers, church fathers, has 73 books. Well, the Protestant Bible, Protestant means they protest against some of the books that were in the Bible, has 66 books in it. Now, if you go to the Ethiopian Bible, it has a lot of stuff in it because it's got 88 books in there. And I'm real anxious to see all of those books that it has in there. Seems like they were an active Bible that collected things that were new and they found pieces of. But anyway, that's like the Dead Sea Scrolls, for instance, and some of the Coptic files, and the beliefs are in there as well. So if you get a chance, you might check that out yourself. It's really interesting to compare those. And the English Bible, we know the first one is King James. Well, it wasn't the first one. There were some before that. And all you have to do is look in a big Bible or look in the Google it, and it'll tell you what it is. But it is interesting. Now, the other thing I want to talk about today is karma. Now, you all have heard of karma, and karma gets thrown around as a concept like, well, if you do something that's not right, you're going to get it's going to balance out on you. Well, that's not exactly what karma was. The meaning of karma is action, and it's a Hindu word, and it's in the Hindu New Testament. There's a karma yoga, which is yoga means action, so that there's a reading about what karma is and how to deal with that with Arjuna and Sri Krishna. That's also interesting. But let me talk a little bit about what karma is. Karma is not, I thought, I'm going to tell you an example of my own that I thought was karma. I was knocking concrete off a shiplap a long time ago when they still used shiplap to build buildings, and pour concrete and all that. And my father brought home some shiplap that he was going to build a garage out of. Well, guess who got to knock the concrete off of the shiplap? That was me. And it had nails in it as well. So I was out there banging on the thing with a hammer, and I got mad at it for having to do it, and I wasn't hitting the nails just right. They were bending, and stuff was flying off. And what happened? So I gave it an extra hard lick, and guess what? The hammer bounced right back and hit a tooth right there. And that was what I thought was a karmic reaction that I looked at later on in life. I didn't know at the time how to talk about it. But anyway, that was one of those things where it was quick action and it gets straightened out. Karma, well, let's first say that there's a couple of things that one has to believe, or at least give credit to, in order to understand karma, and that is reincarnation. And what that simply means is that you may be living this life, you may have lived a life before, you may have lived a life before that, and you may have lived a lot of lives, or you may not. That's all an individual matter. But karma is something that, say, in this life, you have to do something that seems like it's not right, but you go ahead and do it. That's a way of balancing karma and getting equilibrium into your life for the karmic action that may have occurred long ago or yesterday. Anyway, it's a very complex process, and it's not just as simple as gets thrown around these days, like if you do a little something and you get paid for it, that takes care of it. That's not the way it is, and that's not what it's about. It's a Hindu term, and we've adopted it as karma, the word itself. Well, in Hindi it sounds different, but in English it's karma, and we learn how that our lives can be straightened out in some ways or balanced out with the karmic action that's occurred in the past. Say there was maybe something that happened in a past life that was kind of not quite right, you know. I hate to use the word evil, but maybe it wasn't quite right. And so it didn't get balanced out then. There was no equilibrium that happened at that point. But so in this life, you may have to do something that will balance that out. The law of nature, the mother law of nature about karma is that it has a balance. And it's also written in the Akashic records. Now you might say, what's an Akashic record? That's another term. And it presumes that there is something in our universe that is not just space. They're etheric. The idea is there's an etheric thing, position, film that records all of that. And there's a way, if you want to find out, to look and see what your Akashic records show. You have to do a few exercises and do a little work on it, but you can do that. And that is something you want to work toward balancing out your karma so that your life can go full steam ahead in a very positive direction. So that's, I think, all I'm going to talk about today. So I'll see you next week. Goodbye.
No.